All right, so Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix came out July 11th, 2007. Great day, by the way. Now, coming to this movie, we had a new director, actually. From the last film, we had Mike Newell. From the third one, we had Alfonso Cuarón. The first two were Chris Columbus. Now, this film, actually, David Yates had taken over. I wasn't really too familiar with this filmography up to this point. Now, he's done the fifth, the sixth, the seventh, and the eighth film, or parts 1 and 2, whatever you want to say. And he's doing Fantastic Beasts and Where to Find Them, which I'm happy about because he does know the lore of Harry Potter, of course. And also he did Tarzan that came out this year earlier. I didn't see that, but just visually looked interesting from the trailers. But getting back to this, I thought, coming into this, look, the biggest hurdle coming into this was it was in 2007 during the writer's strike, so the normal screenwriter, Steve Kloves, was not unfortunately available. He did every single other film before this and all the ones after this, but you can kind of tell initially, like, there's a little bit missing on his writing touch, just from the previous 4 films and also what we saw in the other films. But that being said, I still do like this film a lot. If we're going off rankings, I'd say it's probably one of my least favorites of the one. But that being said, they're all fantastic. I just would say this is the least of the fantastic bunch. But I still really enjoy this film. It's still pretty good, and it's visually really stimulating too, especially the end climactic sequence between Voldemort and Dumbledore, which we'll get into in a little bit.
Yeah, this movie's really up and down for me. Sometimes I think it's one of the best of the Harry Potter movies, and sometimes I think it's the worst one. There are certain parts where I think each one, but overall, I thought it's pretty cool. It has a really, really dark tone. This book especially has a very dark tone, and the movie did a good job conveying that, especially from the very beginning. When you see the opening scene and they're out in that field and it just looks all overcast and dark, and the Dementors come, that whole scene, all the way up into the next scene where they go into the Ministry of Magic and they have that hearing. It's just like a very like off-putting kind of feeling, and then that kind of sets the tone for the rest of the movie where Harry's feeling very isolated and Dumbledore won't talk to him, and he's feeling alone. So I thought the movie did a pretty good job conveying that, at least in that sense.
Yeah, no, and just going into the story, I do like how we are now in Harry's 5th year, and as you said, like, he's the most famous wizard ever. But now this year, he's very isolated and alone because in the 4th film, he saw Voldemort's return. And also that Voldemort and Peter Pettigrew had killed Cedric Diggory, and then nobody believes him, obviously out of fear from Cornelius Fudge's perspective, and now he's lying to the papers, just saying that it's all lies by Harry. Him and Dumbledore, they're just lying and making this up, because he fears him. But again, I liked that portion of the story where Harry truly feels all alone, other than Hermione and Ron believing him, of course, but Dumbledore won't even speak or rather even look at him, other than help him in a courtroom scene. But I mean, again, I did really like how they went into that in this film, and on top of the dark tones that you were talking about, I really like seeing Harry finally really feeling isolated and alone. I mean, obviously, again, he did have Hermione and Ron there, but
they were a little bit distant.
Yeah, but still, obviously, you could tell.
Yeah, they're his closest contacts.
Yeah, but still, like, I did like that feeling for Harry, and it was a rather nice change, I thought too, and I thought Harry did. I like the maturity of the character too in this film too, like from that feeling of isolation and alone. Just I liked it a lot.
So the acting in this movie is still pretty good. Our main characters just keep improving, getting better. Mm-hmm. We got a couple new characters introduced too. We got Luna Lovegood, who I thought was pretty interesting and funny. She didn't have, she was in the movie, but they left out a lot of kind of what she brought to the table. But I thought she was good. And then obviously the main character we have is Dolores Umbridge, who you just have to hate. You love to hate her. She's just infuriating. So I thought the actress they got to play her did a pretty good job. Her little mannerisms and like, I don't know. I imagined her being a little fatter, but for the movie it works. Yeah, that little laugh or whatever. But she was just, you just gotta hate her, man.
Yeah, no, I thought, as you just pointed out, Imelda Staunton, who played Dolores Umbridge, she's phenomenal. I call her the modern-day Miss Trunchbull from Matilda, just because, she becomes the principal and she just tortures, especially Harry, of course, but makes all these crazy rules. Really kind of feels like almost like a boarding Stanford kind of school. But I did like that, again, that you hate her so much. Just a really good performance by this actress. And I love how we do get to see her later on down the line. When we get to the nitpicks and flaws of the film, I'm going to go into something that involves Dolores Umbridge, but performance-wise and character-wise, I thought this actress did such a phenomenal job. And again, like you said, you really hated her when you watched her. She really infuriated you, which is to the credit of the actress, obviously, and also, of course, to the screenwriter. But I just thought her performance, for me personally, was a little bit standout over everyone. Just because, again, we're also used to seeing the other great performances.
It's a new character.
Yeah, and it's like Gilderoy Lockhart in the second film. That's new standout character, and I thought she really brought a lot to the table, and really, like you said, really made you hate her, especially all her mannerisms too. Just really nailed that.
Well, yeah, and other than Harry, she's really the main character of this movie, so she definitely stole the spotlight.
Yeah, and I gotta say too, the chemistry between Daniel Radcliffe and Amelia Staunton, like, I really like. I've watched a lot of the behind the scenes of this film, all the films rather, but watching this one, you can tell they're very close. Like, they are very friendly to each other, and really they have a great mutual respect for each other when the cameras are not rolling. But when you watch this film, you can tell how much they hate each other, and you truly buy it. And again, that's just, to me, from the chemistry of the actors and their performances, it's just really spot on for me, and just how I would imagine those performances out of the book. Because again, I didn't read book 5, I'm not gonna lie, but I do know some referencing points.
So good.
Yeah, I know. I do know some too long for me. I do know some referencing points to the book of the main things that did happen. So just from the description of Umbridge that I got from the little things I saw online, that's what I imagined she would be, and I thought the chemistry between her and Daniel Radcliffe was spot on. Okay, so now taking over the music for this film, of course, we had the great John Williams in the first 3. We had Patrick Doyle in the last one. Now in this one is Nicholas Hooper. Again, I'm not too familiar with his filmography. Up to this point, I only know him from this, and obviously now the Half-Blood Prince 2. I gotta say, I thought he did a fantastic job with his take on the Harry Potter cinematic universe, and I also gotta say, just from the beginning, the dun, 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 that piano little theme that comes on, that sad tone that you get immediately, I just immediately was right emotionally invested into this music score. I gotta say though, my favorite parts, my 2 favorite parts of the score on top of the one I just mentioned at the beginning, when Harry is teaching in the room of requirement, you hear the dun 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 dun, like that theme that's going on. It's really good by Nicholas Hooper. I love that theme. Also too, after Harry, or rather Dumbledore and Voldemort have their epic duel in the Ministry of Magic. Music, when Voldemort tries to rather invade Harry's body and mind, I love the music that's playing. Rewatch that scene, just listen to the music. It's phenomenal. I love it. It really sucks me in emotionally whenever I listen to that music, and it's just one of the best scores, not only in Harry Potter, in the Harry Potter films, but one of the best. That scene in particular is what I mean. That scene in particular, one of the best sounds of music I've ever heard in a film, for me personally. So, great job for me by Nicholas Hooper.
I thought the visual aesthetics in this movie were really good. This movie was really well shot and really well edited too. I don't know, certain camera angles that they used I thought were a little bit different than they had been before, but I thought everything looked really good. And then some of the visual effects, like when they're doing all the Patronuses, was kind of cool. And yeah, that epic battle at the end with Voldemort and Dumbledore, where he's like throwing the fire and then he turns it to ice or in the glass. I thought that was a really sick scene.
Great
One
effects.
of the coolest scenes I think in the whole series. But that just looked really, really good. We're starting to get into more modern times and everything just looked great. Mm-hmm. There was no Quidditch in this movie, so we didn't really have anything to deal with that. But overall, I mean, this movie I thought looked really great, especially for so many of the, this movie had dark tones, but it visually was dark too, so that was part of it. Very dark blue and gray and black. And I also love seeing the Ministry of Magic really extended for the first time, in the beginning when he's at the trial, and also at the end when there's that big battle, and also the part where they're in the Department of Mysteries and all those prophecies are falling down. Just everything looked freaking awesome.
Yeah, no, just to touch upon what you said, the Ministry of Magic is obviously the new addition in terms of sets or places we have not really visited in these films, and like you said, it was just really not only incredible to see, but visually it was incredible. It's just how I would imagine the Ministry to be, from the Department of Mysteries, where you see, again, like you just said, all the prophecies, to where they're battling it out, to when Voldemort and Dumbledore are battling in the main hall, basically. It's just incredible. It looks like a place where you would see people who have magic power, or rather who use magic, would go to. It's just an incredible visual standpoint. I love the new sets that they showed. Like you said, the extended sets that we got to see of the Ministry of Magic. Really cool.
Yeah, and reading this book back in the day, this end scene of this movie where they're at the Ministry is one I was looking forward to seeing on screen for the longest time. And I thought they did a really good job with this scene because, when they fly over on the Thestrals, they go to the Department of Mysteries. They get the prophecy, and then all the Death Eaters come and they have that battle, end up in the Ministry of Magic. So I thought this whole scene was really sick action, and they actually even extended it from the book with that battle between Voldemort and Dumbledore. That wasn't really like that big of a battle, but they did the opposite of what they did in part 8, which they totally cut off. But we'll get to that at part 8.
But yeah, just adding on, I thought the action in this film, as you were just pointing out, was really incredible. Obviously, the standout for sure has to be the Dumbledore and the Voldemort battle, because I think it's pretty obvious, since we've seen Dumbledore on screen portrayed first by Richard Harris and then taken over by Michael Gambon, we've wanted to see Dumbledore in a duel, in a battle. And to see it finally on screen, I couldn't have imagined it being any better. Okay, so some of the issues I had with this film, I'd say my biggest one, again, more of a nitpick, I guess, but still, I had a problem with it. I love how at the beginning that they have the Dementors come after Harry, and then we see that Harry is expelled, and then he's got a court case pending it. And then kind of at that court case, we see that Dumbledore had, or rather Umbridge had said that, how silly of me, it seems like you think that the Ministry had something to do with this. Yeah, well, it was you, Dolores, so that's what happened actually in the book. We find out later in the book that it was Umbridge who sent the Dementors after, because she wanted to get Harry expelled, because she thinks he's lying about everything. So I don't know why they didn't just take two. Like, me personally, I think that would have been perfect in the woods when she says to Harry and Hermione, "You tried to trick me. You know, I really hate kids." Why not just right there, then and there, just say, reveal, "It was me, by the way, who sent the Dementors after you." Just right there. It would have taken 2 seconds. And also it validates who the hell sent the Dementors after him, because they never explain it in the movies. I'm not saying it's a huge...
Yeah, they kind of glossed over it.
Yeah, they did, but I mean, they did reference it a little bit because they had Dolores say it in the courtroom, which when I saw the movie initially, I thought, okay, now it's for sure going to come out that she's the one who did it.
Yeah, they never really told you for sure that it was her that sent them.
But it was her.
Yeah, it was.
So, and also, too, another little issue I have, and again, I understand why they don't go with this, because it is better storytelling to see Harry isolated and feeling all alone. Of course, I'm glad they ended up going with that version. But just from a little plot hole perspective, they established the Pensieve in the last film, which you can put your memories into. So Harry clearly has visual memory of Voldemort and Peter Pettigrew killing Cedric Diggory and Voldemort returning to true power and form. Why not put your memory in the Pensieve and then show the Ministry? I understand it's limited to a few people, that magic, but it's still magic. You can show them. And before anyone says, well, you can tamper with memories. Yeah, that's true. We saw in the next film that Slughorn did tamper with his memory when he's speaking to Voldemort. But it's very obvious when you tamper with a memory like that. When watching it, Harry said, "What is this?" He goes, I thought you'd mention that. He goes, "It's clearly been tampered with." The Ministry, again, they don't know this magic, maybe. I don't know, but you can tell when it's being tampered with or when it's true. So that would be a little plot hole to me. But again, I like the choice of still staying with the Harry being isolated. So it's all good, but it is a little bit of a plot hole to me.
For me, just minor issues were that some scenes were amazing and some scenes were like obviously filler. And the movie's pretty long, and they definitely it's a little bit slow at times, but I don't know. It didn't bother me too much watching it this time. I've gone back and forth on this movie. At first, I thought it was one of my favorites, and I thought it was my least favorite. Now it's back somewhere in the middle. But there's certain scenes I'm just like, you didn't need to do that, or they could have done something else, or this is just filler.
Yeah. So now our favorite quote of the film. I actually, I'll go with my one favorite quote. I would say it's kind of a 2-part quote, but it's where Dolores is about to be hauled off by the centaurs.
Yeah, the centaurs.
By the centaurs, and she says to Harry, "Potter, tell them I mean them no harm." "I'm sorry, Professor. I must not tell lies." Yes!
That's a pretty good one.
Yes!
That's vindication
Get her
there.
back,
yeah.
Finally. So just a great epic moment for me personally, just because of the hatred you had for the character up to this point. So, and I love that moment. I thought Daniel Radcliffe just nailed that line.
Yeah, mine is a little less standout, but I think it's when they're at Hagrid's hut when he gets back, and he's all bruised up, and he's like,
"Take it, yes."
It feels just like it did the last time, meaning last time Voldemort was rising to power, and I thought that was just like, all right, now we know that the world's totally changing, the foreshadowing of Voldemort and what's to come. So I just thought that was really powerful. like kind of underground powerful, like
Yeah.
you know, a little subtlety there.
Yeah,
but
definitely.
I really like that quote.
No, I agree. And also, too, just really quick, getting into the humor of this film, I thought this film did a great job balancing the humor in this and also the tension-filled dramatic moments, of course, too. But some of my favorite humorous moments, I thought the Weasley brothers, Fred and George, really, like, again, just they're always funny in the first four movies, of
their
course.
job.
It is, but the comic relief in certain areas. But I thought they really stepped up and did an even better job in this. From the ears to the finally starting their Weasley shop, albeit it was not the big shop we see in the next film. It's more just at Hogwarts because they're in their final 7th year. But I just like when they're giving kids stuff like to get them out of class. And I love also their hatred and how they want to play tricks on Umbridge too, and also when they play tricks on Mr. Filch, giving him the acne, some fun stuff. I'd say my favorite humoristic moment by far is by Alan Rickman as Snape when Dolores is asking him about the dark arts post. She's like, "You tried to be the dark arts teacher and were unsuccessful. You've tried in the past to be the dark arts teacher. Is that correct?" "Yes." "And so far you've been unsuccessful?" "Obviously." The delivery, and then not only that, Alan Rickman stamps it up by when Ron Weasley laughs after that, he slaps him in the up across the head with his pamphlet book, a little trope from the last film when him and Harry were talking about who to take to the Yule Ball, and he kept on hitting them and putting their head down. So I just thought, again, the humor in the movie was really well balanced and fantastic, but Alan Rickman just, like normal, he stamped just kind of exclamation point there with
he
his
put
humor.
his mark on it.
Yeah.
He's not in it all that much, but he
the
puts
little
his mark.
scenes he's in, he just makes such a big impact. Whether it's humoristic moments or moments where he's got to figure out Harry's memory to get him stronger and ready for Voldemort. Just he makes such a big impact in small doses.
I mean, I feel like the humor in this movie is more relief because this movie is so dark and kind of sad that they have to throw in a little bit of humor in there to kind of balance it out.
Definitely. All right, so overall thoughts. I still really enjoy this film. Again, if we're going from a rankings perspective, which we do hope to make soon one day, from a rankings perspective, I'd still say it's my least favorite. That being said, they're all great. I'd say the visuals in this film are really good. The action is very good. I thought the acting and the characters, once again, very incredible. Again, the standout performance for me is Dolores Umbridge. She's fantastic. Again, I like seeing the universe expand more. I'm going to give Harry Potter and the Order of the Phoenix a 7.5 out of 10.
Yeah, I actually think I'm going to give it a 7.5 as well. A lot of things for me were different in this movie. It just didn't feel like any of the rest of the other movies, or the first 4 movies, but I kind of thought that was a good thing because they definitely took it in a darker direction, like where the world is going since Voldemort is back. They really made you feel that sense of Harry just feeling so alone and distanced from everybody. And that last scene, or not last scene, but the last act, basically, when the whole fight scene at the Ministry, really, really good. So overall, I think I'm going to give it a 7.5. Alright guys, well that's going to do it for this video. We're going to be doing Harry Potter and the Half-Blood Prince next, so be on the lookout for that. And if you like these videos, you can hit the subscribe button.
See you guys next time.